Hello and welcome back to SnowRunner, y'all. Now in this video, we are actually out on a map that y'all may or may not recognize from some older videos and live streams. And if y'all remember, this map is called Mega Ramp 2.0 and it's a map by Limes. And the main reason why I wanted to bring this map up and do a video on it, especially a new video, is because it has recently been updated again with new console files in hopes for it to actually be able to drop on consoles. And you might say, well, why is that significant? And there are a few different reasons, but one is when this map was originally released, I think, almost a year ago, when it was originally released, it had console files. However, it was never approved by the developers, and thus there were a lot of people that ended up saying that this map would never be on console, and saying that it was console friendly was just a quote-unquote lie. Now, I want to speak to that because I've dealt with this before and mod creators have also dealt with this issue where they will release something that has console files and then it doesn't get approved or it doesn't pass developer testing, and then people that wanted to see the mod on their console understandably of course get upset, but then what they do, or at least what some of them do, is they blame the mod creator or they blame me for saying the mod was console friendly because it had console files, but they get mad at us and say, well, you lied. And I always make sure to give a disclaimer whenever I do videos on mods that are console friendly but haven't dropped on console yet. That's what, after all, that's what console friendly means. Console friendly, if you're not aware, means the mod has console files but has not yet passed testing from the developers. Because really, at the end of the day, the developers are the ones that have the final say in whether or not a mod actually sees the mod browser on console. So mod creators can try as hard as they can to make these mods as friendly and as usable as possible. But if a mod doesn't get approved, that's really where the mod sits, and it almost just sits in this limbo space until it ends up passing testing. And in a lot of cases, the developers don't seem to actually tell these mod creators what actually went wrong. They just say, an error occurred, fix it. And then the mod gets kicked back to the mod creator, where when they have time to work on it, they'll end up going back and trying to fix little things that they can find or adjusting things that they can find. And then after they've made their adjustments, the mod gets uploaded to Mod.io, where it once again gets put in line for testing, not necessarily in line. We don't necessarily know how they pick which order to test these mods in, but it goes back into this sort of testing pool, or that's what we're going to call it, at least in this sense. And when it goes back into that testing pool, if it passes, then it drops. If it doesn't pass, then they just either say error occurred or they say nothing. And I say all of this to encourage y'all to be patient with a lot of these mod creators, especially a lot of mod creators that work with custom objects on maps, because a lot of the time these custom objects can be things that will make a map a lot harder to get approved. And it definitely doesn't help the process when you flood their comments with, well, you're lying. This isn't console friendly. It wasn't on my console mod browser. So your claim that it is console friendly is a flat out lie. Now, of course, if people were saying, well, it's on console and it hasn't been approved yet, well, that's one thing. But saying something is console friendly is not the same as saying it is on console. And part of me is like, wow, I can't believe I have to say that. But at the same time, I think a lot of people need that specific language clarified because I see it a lot. And I think a lot of it comes out of frustration because people will see a mod labeled as console friendly and then they will open their mod browser and they'll get upset that the mod that they were excited about was not there. Now, as of recording this video, this map has not yet been approved on consoles, although it does have all of the necessary files for every console except for Switch, and I feel like the only reason probably for that is because sometimes the testing process for Switch mods can be a little bit more stringent and a little bit more strict as to what modders can actually do and what they can actually include, because the Switch, hardware-wise, is a lot less capable than the rest of the consoles that this game kind of exists on, I suppose. So now that we've gone through everything about sort of the backstory of this map and why it is almost like why it's reappearing, we can talk a little bit more about the map itself, and also if my own impressions and opinions of it have changed over the course of when this map was originally released and when I played it at sort of launch, and of course to now. Also, side note, if you can get one of these trucks to bounce just right, you want to talk about absolute endless entertainment? You can definitely find it out here. And especially if you can get this map to work with your friends, that's going to be even more endless fun. However, that kind of also brings me to another topic, and that is everyone's favorite topic when it comes to SnowRunner. Multiplayer stability issues. Because A, they are definitely still here, and B, I don't know if they're ever going to go away, because this game has been out for so long and has had, and honestly at this point, been plagued with multiplayer instabilities for honestly such a long time that they have kind of become almost a staple of the SnowRunner experience. Now, obviously, that is not something that you want your game to be known for. However, if you go into any SnowRunner-focused spaces, that's one of the biggest things you're going to hear people talking about, even if it's completely unrelated to the topic that is being talked about at hand. You could have, let's say, a discussion about a new truck or a new map, and you'll see someone in the comments talking about how, well, that looks fun, but I'm not really interested because I can't play this game with my friends anymore at all. And for one, that is not a great look for the developers. That's not a great look at all. And when people just keep having so many persistent issues, and honestly, in some ways, you can't really blame people for going to other games. And of course, with that being said, is SnowRunner still fun? Sure. It's a really good time. However, it's a really good time when it works. And unfortunately, it doesn't always work. And trust me, I wish it did. However, there's only so much that I think we can do if the architecture on the back end isn't necessarily up to the tasks that, honestly, that the game and its player base demand of it. But enough going on about that. Honestly, we've gone on about that subject in so many different videos at this point that I feel like, honestly, I feel like we've talked about it almost to death. Although, I'm not entirely sure about that, because every time I think I have kind of talked about something to death, someone in the comments goes, well, you've never talked about insert topic here. And I'm like, I've made like 5 videos on this. Either you just haven't watched them, or the YouTube algorithm is not doing its job very well. However, I'm going to leave y'all with this. If y'all are excited about this map and are excited to hopefully see it on consoles soon, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And of course, if you are new around here, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. Or if you're watching this on a different platform, like maybe Facebook, then use either the follow button or the like button, or whichever button you would, I don't know, prefer to use. And lastly, if you have any requests or other things that you would like to see, leave those down in the comment section below. And if you maybe hated the video, you can of course leave that down in the comments as well. Although I will let you know that while you can leave whatever comments you want, I can't promise that they won't be replied to with that same level of energy. So with that, that is where we are going to end this one, and I'll see y'all next time.